My question is for Dr. Curatola, please. I had a 3D campaign that revealed a sinusitis in the kiss and one infected root canal, which I removed, but I still have other root canals, and I wonder if I need to remove them all and use a partial, which I think seems to be the safest alternative. Also, as I removed my infected tooth a month ago, would it still be possible to see a specialist to use ozone therapy, or is it late? Thank you so much.
Yes, that's an excellent question. And root canals are notorious. They don't work. You can't sterilize a tooth, and you end up having lots of supercharged bacteria and all kinds of microparasites, viruses. I mean, I do microbial testing on removed, and we just had a meeting this morning about this. When we remove a root canal tooth, we do microbial testing on it. And it is frightening what is propagated around this and cultured in the human body. As I like to say, root canal is the only procedure where we keep something dead in the human body. We don't do root canals on femurs. We don't do root canals on gallbladders. We don't do root canals on infected appendixes. So what we thought was a good thing, we quote unquote, dentists like to say we saved the tooth, is in actuality a toxic tooth. So removing that infected root canal, if your sinusitis hasn't been cleaned up, they didn't adequately clean around the surrounding bone that also becomes infected when an infected root canal is in place. For people, there are root canal teeth that are more toxic than others. Molars, notorious. Bicuspids, notorious. Canines, notorious. Some of the front teeth, single-rooted teeth, are not as toxic, and there isn't that much around them. So we always test, because rather than ripping every tooth, and I have people that have shown up. I had a patient come in last week that had 9 root canals. And by the way, she had thyroid cancer. And where were some of the root canals sitting? Right on the thyroid meridian, which is an energetic channel that connects, every tooth is connected energetically to every organ system in the body. It's really fascinating. So my advice to you would be to triage which root canals are causing the most problems, and those are the ones that should be removed. I recommend getting them removed by a properly trained, excuse me, biologic dentist. That's a dentist who understands proper use of ozone and disinfection of the surrounding tissue and not just the tooth itself. I hope that helps, Sophia.
Aaron, would you like to ask a question, or where are you from?
Yes, I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I have another question for Dr. Curatola. With regarding to implant and bone graft, I went to a biological dentist that was recommend me to do bone graft from cow bone, and because I don't have enough bone in order to do the zirconia implant, I would like to understand what are your thoughts about this bone graft. Is it something that you would recommend to do, or you would recommend it to do a different bone graft? And if you have any recommendation of biological dentist around Boston area.
Yes, I can answer both of those. So the types of grafting material, and everyone, just so everyone understands, when we graft bone, we really don't, stick bone in the place and that becomes your bone. Grafting is a process where we use a grafting material, and a lot of times it's a combination of materials. For example, in our office, we take blood from your arm, spin it down. We use platelet-rich fibrin from your own body, which has mesenchymal stem cells, which are cells, primordial cells that differentiate into the tissue. But grafting, the stuff we put in there is really a scaffold for your body to then use. The cells that make bone are called osteoblasts, and they make bone and they use that scaffold to grow on. So what types of materials do we have? Bone materials for the scaffold. Bovine bone, that's the cow bone. Porcine bone, that's pig. We have synthetic bone, which is probably the worst because it doesn't resorb quickly. And then we have human bone. And sometimes that human bone is a donor, like blood donor, bone donor, that human bone, or it could be taken from another site in your mouth, like the ramus of the mandible. The graft, my experience has been, the grafting material has been, that's the best, is the human bone. Believe it or not, the second best is porcine, because it resorbs the way human bone does as your body makes new bone. How these materials are processed becomes a question as well. So I always ask people where it's coming from. Is it irradiating? So they use radiation to sterilize the bone. They irradiate it. That is, to me, can be problematic. I hope that helps a little bit. So do your homework in that regard. I like to use autogenous grafts from other parts of the body. Sometimes we take from the hip, the crest of the ridge of your hip, if we need to take more bone. And good biologic dentist, well-trained biologic dentist in Boston area, Yuko Torigoe. Yuko, she's a Japanese American, Torigoe. I hope that's helpful.
Celine, would you like to ask a question, and where are you from?
Yes, please. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and my question is a dental question as well. I just want to kind of know what's possible in terms of remineralization of the teeth through diet and, possibly healing or reversing cavities. I've seen studies including manuka honey or matcha powders that have shown some results.
So that's a fantastic question. And I'm going to try and answer it quickly so other people can ask questions. Teeth can remineralize and heal, not from fluoride. By the way, fluoride, as I said, creates an artificial mineral called fluorapatite. Bad. Very hard, very brittle. You can remineralize. Remember, I alluded to it earlier, make peace with your microbes, because in the mouth, the oral microbiome acts as an intelligent semi-permeable membrane that transports minerals from saliva to your teeth. What can promote that? Manuka honey. There's been some studies on manuka honey stimulating remineralization. We're stimulating that process of your microbes transporting ionic minerals from saliva. I hope there are no more dental questions because I'm losing my voice.